So thank you, Professor Ruff. Thank you, Professor Van Dijk, for your initiative here in this European Access Academy and hosting this here today in the beautiful city of Brussels. I apologize for Francis Arix, who was supposed to speak here in front of this distinguished audience, but you have to do it with me. And I work for the Belgian Healthcare Institute here in Brussels. And the department of Francis Arix is responsible for the HDA of pharmaceuticals submitted for reimbursement, as well as the reimbursement criteria and the price. So in conflicts of interest, I don't have conflicts of interest, only that I speak on behalf of the Belgian Healthcare Institute. Myself, I'm a physician internist. Professor Van Dijk, I'm MD, but not MBA. And so I'm responsible for the HDA as such for the reimbursement in Belgium. I don't have slides, but I have an abstract for those who want to have a text in front of their eyes. You can find it in the abstract book. And my presentation is in 3 parts: the past, the present, and the future. First of all, the past. We may not forget the long past of this European regulation and what we have learned from it. It has a long preparatory path, and a lot of difficulties were dealt with in the past, and as again, we should learn from these hurdles and how these were addressed in the actual regulation. The UNETA joint actions 1, 2, and 3 dealt with several issues in connecting the national HDA and the international HDA. I was there also in the kickoff meeting in 2010 of Joint Action 1 of UNETA. It was the first action in 2010 hosted by Zorginstituut in Amsterdam, and I still remember the enthusiasm to start with a pan-European core report that can be expanded to national HDA reports. I remember that enthusiasm, and I hope that this enthusiasm is still in front of us in the future. Well, to talk about the hurdles in the past that were addressed, the quality of the assessment. It's really important to stress that the quality and the methodology issues that go together to have a high-quality report in order to inform the decision makers in healthcare. Also, the scope of the European HDA work. What is the scope? What can we do internationally? And what has to be done subsequently nationally? This has, I think, clearly be done and clearly be written in the new regulation. Belgium has contributed to this preparatory trajectory 2010-2021. For instance, the Belgian Healthcare Institute, Belgian Knowledge Center for Healthcare, KCE, was involved in establishing methodological guidelines, and we as Healthcare Institute have participated in 22 joint scientific consultations on pharmaceuticals with the industry. At that time, it was called early dialogues. I still like that term, early dialogues, because for us, Belgian Healthcare Institute, it's sometimes important to start early to discuss with the pharmaceutical company. Additional to UNETA work in the past, we also have to remember the work done by the project SEED. SEED is the abbreviation for Shaping European Early Dialogues for Health Technologies. That was hosted in Paris. What did they do and what were the issues there? Well, they were looking for the right place of the physicians in these early dialogues and the right place of patient representatives in cross-border meetings with companies. The RIZIV INAMI, as I said before, has been favoring international early dialogues with companies up front of national submissions. And why is that? Well, we know that some health technologies are complicated, are not well studied, or not have full evidence at the moment of decision-making, and the moment of decision-making is too late to make very much informed decisions on healthcare. So then we come to the present. Cross-border HDA, the subject of today, is nowadays carried out already, and this within the framework of the Benelux initiative. Altogether, we have done in Benelux 8 joint assessments. 7 were done simultaneously, simultaneously in 2 capitals of the Benelux, or 3 capitals, and 1 of the 8 was done consecutively, so done first in 1 capital and taken over in another capital. 7 plus 8 plus 1, that makes 8. So it concerns a joint report done by 2 or 3 national HDA bodies, and it included the clinical assessment, the budgetary assessment for 2 or 3 countries, and the pharmacoeconomic assessment altogether. In some cases, this was followed by joint negotiations for reimbursement. In all the others, it was not. Then let's talk about the future also today. And also, I think in the breakout sessions, we have to think about the future. The UNETA 21 consortium, ladies and gentlemen, is dealing in detail with the implementation of what we have learned from the past. And the Belgian healthcare institutes acknowledge the work done in the joint work plan of EMA and the European HDA bodies. Their implementation rolling plan is the concrete emanation of this. So the future has already started with this road plan for the next step to take. As we are also payers, we support the initiative of MEDEF. This is an initiative of European payers at the European Social Insurance Platform. We support the role of MEDEF and of payers in general at the EMA level in order to have the payers' input very early. And I repeat that word, early. Another thing for the future are the high impact reports produced by the International Horizon Scan Initiative. For us, they are key in the preparation of future joint HDA in Europe. And the last one, I think, and maybe we have to deal with that in the breakout sessions, is the thing of the issue of the human resources, because we would like to have a lot of pan-European work, cross-border work, with all kinds of European stakeholders, and everything looks nice and fine. But we still have to think about the resources, and not in project terms, of the UNETA projects of the past, but also in terms of a more stable and continuous system where people from HDA bodies and payers can be present and can be dedicate their work to that joint work. As to the Belgian situation, this is still an open question. This still has to be come on the political agenda as to how many human resources will be spent on this future HDA regulation. I'm thinking about early dialogues and about all these joint assessments. I thank you for your attention.